All right, welcome back to the Courageous MD podcast. I'm your host, 401 Jake, with Dr. Richard Hopkins. Excited today to dive into my favorite topic, 401k, and the fees associated with 401ks. We want you to be very clear and transparent, knowing what you're paying for. And this is going to be valuable to you from a personal level and a practice level. So depending on if you're a partner yet or not, or whatever your scenario is, we're going to talk about that and give you some insight and things to do, next steps as you either set up a plan or make your plan even better so that you are benefiting personally. So quick overview so you understand the 401k plan, how it works, how it operates. You've probably had one, whether it was at another job or in residency, but a 401k essentially has 4 different people getting paid. All right. The first thing is your advisor. We're going to dive deep into that today, but I want you to know the other 3 fees too. So the advisor, they're going to take usually an asset-based fee. Okay. So it's a percentage of what you are contributing to the plan each year. And then you've got second fee is the TPA, or third party administrator. So we'll do a separate episode just about administrators and the importance behind it, where you need to select a good one there, because it can be a nightmare if you don't pick the right one. Record keeping. So when you think 401k, when you think about logging in and seeing your account, that's where you have a record keeper. So the big names, Fidelity, Empower, Voya, Vanguard, they're all there. And then the fourth one is the mutual funds themselves. So those are the 4 expenses. So let's dive quickly into the advisor component, because this varies it's all over the map as far as what advisors are going to try and pitch to you, how they're going to approach, getting you to hire them, and the things and services that are involved with them being a part of your plan. Most advisors, I would say, typically like to look at the 401k as 2 different things. They look at it as a very passive model where they set up the plan, they do some work up front, and then they just let the money roll in every payroll, and their fee keeps going up, or their dollar amount they're receiving keeps going up. That is a really not the best relationship, because the 401k is going to continually change and morph and need a lot of attention. So if you have an advisor that doesn't want to put that attention in and is just passively trying to get paid on something, not a good fit. The second thing I see is a lot of advisors use the 401k as a marketing tool to get in the doors and sell you other products. So going back to one of our other episodes where we talked about fee-based versus fee-only, a fee-based advisor would come in, do the 401k, and then also try to sell you an annuity or life insurance policy. So watch out there. You don't want that. What you do want is to have a fiduciary on the plan that takes as much risk as possible off of your plate. Your job is to focus on being a physician or a dentist or whatever your practice does, not know every little inside of the 401k industry, because it is changing. A lot of technology is improving it right now. Costs are coming down. So you need to have really an extension of your admin team being that advisor. They need to be on your side. They represent you. They go to work for you to make sure all those other fees, the TPA, record keeper, and the funds are all in line and all in check. And that you're also protected from a risk standpoint of the Department of Labor, the IRS, or even one of your employees suing you. Those are the things you got to look out for. So what we want to dive into now that you kind of understand the 4 fees and the advisor's role is from a practice management side of things, or a practice owner or a partner. How do you approach this with lots of varying opinions? Maybe you've got partners that want to bring in a neighbor or bring in a relative, or maybe they have a certain name brand they want and they're stuck just on that, and you have to somehow navigate through different opinions without ruffling feathers. And that's what I want to get Dr. Hopkins' take on, because he's been through this through his career, and he has a good experience as far as how to navigate this the best way possible. Go ahead, Richard.
Thanks, Jake. I think 2 things that you've touched on that are really important is that an advisor should be someone that takes things off of your plate. This is someone who helps you time-wise, someone that helps you navigate these changing laws. In the last few years, these laws have changed nearly every year. Crazy stuff, and particularly with the COVID virus.
Yeah, we've had 2 acts. We had the Secure Act in last December and the CARES Act this year for COVID. It's changing all the time.
Changing all the time, and you need someone that stays on top of that. And so I'd encourage people not just to get any financial advisor, but to get someone who specializes in retirement plans, in 401k, like yourself, Jake. The navigation with the group mainly deals with bids. You can go have people bid the plan, and what we found is we go in there and have different people bid is that the fees vary wildly. We've saved people in the range of $14,000 each per year. This is a per year, meaning that next year you save another $14,000. And that depends on the amount of money you have in your plan.
And we've saved some plans over $100,000. So the size of the plan matters a huge amount.
The 14 that I quoted is one story I know per person per year, because that person had a lot in their portfolio. But you're right, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars that people are spending too much now on their plans. So the first thing that I would suggest doing is getting a apples to apples bid on a spreadsheet on who do you think is a good advisor, TPA funds that you use, and what would you do for me? You know, most of these advisors that are any good will come in, talk to each person in your plan, including the lower paid employees and the higher paid physicians. They'll go through it and say, is there anything that's changed in your life that you need to change your plan a little bit to increase your risk, decrease your risk? And because as we go through our careers, things change and we need to keep up with that. The next thing would be to double check what services they do give. And like you say, many places will come in, talk to you about their 401k plan, mainly so that they can get on to a little higher priced personal investing. And so while that's not bad, you know, to have a loss leader, you also want to make sure that you can have control over the other things that they're trying to sell you. The third thing to make sure that these people don't have are 12B1 fees or other hidden commission costs. And these people need to be on your side and not their own side. Those would be the things that I talk about. The efficiency of getting time and energy off your plate, the lower fees, and the services that they offer.
Right. So I always look at the advisor role as definitely, even though it's one of the 4 paid partners in your 401k, they're more on your side, your team. And to do that, they need to understand your scenario, your situation, and your practice may change and it may grow, it may get smaller. Who knows where you're going to go with it. I see a lot of interesting growth and decision-making from the medical and dental world as far as how they're building practices now. And I think the 401k oftentimes gets thrown around as it's just, they're all the same, and they're not. That's why you need that good partner on your side. And so knowing what you're paying for and that they're actually going to help you, not just sell a plan, is really, really a key factor. So that decision-making process it needs to be very thorough. And I personally, as a 401k advisor, hate when it's done really, really fast. I'd rather it be a slow process. I'd rather all the partners are involved. I want them all to ask all their questions and that everybody feel comfortable and happy that I'm basically joining their team. So it's almost like a big, long interview process, in my opinion. That's how I approach it from the advisor side. Are we going to have a good business relationship here? Are you going to listen to me as well as I listen to you? Then we got ourselves a good relationship, and that will grow and develop. And so that's what you got to look out for. That's how you approach it.
The pain in the spectrum of money, generally, Jake, is change. And the less you can change, the less energy you have to put out, the less interviews you have to do, the less you have to worry about your portfolio and where it is. And so the less you can change, the longer term relationship you can have, the better.
Yep. So the advisor role is one you don't want to have to change a lot. You shouldn't be bouncing around. I know we do that like with our cell phones and sometimes with our health insurance. We go from carrier to try and get a lower fee. Your advisor should be the one that's like the hub they're going shopping for you with the other providers to make sure they're doing their job. And if they drop the ball or their fees change or whatever happens, they're the consistent piece that knows you and knows your group and will go to bat for you wherever they can and make sure that you're always getting the best possible deal. So there's a real element of trust that has to be aligned very fast. So I think that's all I have to add to that. Anything else?
I'm interested in hearing about the other fees there, because we all think that there might be one or two. Here you're telling us about four.
Yeah, there's four to watch out for. So I think next steps is to start really by getting your fee disclosure. So if you are in a 401k, if maybe you're just a participant, an employee, or maybe you're a partner, get your 408B2. Now that's the IRS code, but it's a fee disclosure. Every year you have to get it, and it should outline all four of these fees very clearly. And that's a rule that came out, a few years back. So it's a requirement. So you should be able to get that disclosure, and then we can kind of start there, and you'll know at least who the partners are and what they're getting paid.
Tell us that again, the
408B2. So just say fee disclosure. Just whoever's handling your plan, say, I'd like to see my fee disclosure. Where can I get that? Or log into your 401k record keeper and you can see it. So that's your next step. Okay, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to Eucrasia MD podcast. Eucrasia, again, we want you to have a well-balanced life, and we're talking about your finances now, and we love your questions. So please hit us up. Appreciate your feedback. Subscribe to the channel, and we hope to continue to bring you more and more value.